right, it's veggie time.
Indeed it is.
You know, most guys think veggies are really a waste of time. They taste awesome on the barbecue.
Absolutely, and like guys have a tendency when they're cooking a barbecue that the veggies belong in the kitchen. So they'll go in and they'll boil stuff up and they'll cook them in the oven and all that, saying, no, barbecue's for meat only. This is bollocks.
Bollocks?
Bollocks. Because most of the time, it turns out the barbecue actually caramelizes and makes the natural sugars inside.
It tastes so much better, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Boiling it just drains all the life out of vegetables anyways. It's kind of like going out with an overly needy girlfriend. It sucks the life out of you.
Yes.
But that's another story. So what do we got here today, Craig? We got our kind of top 5 veggies we're gonna cook
That's
today.
true, and they're so simple. We've got corn right here. We've got peppers, fennel for something different, a little bit fruity.
Fennel? Ooh, yeah.
We've got asparagus, and we've got cherry tomatoes. And we're going to show you how easy these are to cook on the barbecue. So, shall we prep them
probably
up?
start with the corn, and you can describe what we're doing with the corn. They look kind of different there.
Ta-da. Now, these are husk-on corns. So, these are the best ones to buy. All you do is you pull back each ear quite carefully. A little bit more carefully than what I'm doing. And here's one we prepared earlier. See?
That saves a bit of time.
Wasn't that perfect? You peel them back, and then you use a little bit of kitchen twine and a pair of scissors, and now you've got a handy-dandy handle. So these are ready to go on already. Before we stick them on the grill, we like to cover them in a little bit of olive oil. Make sure it's all nice and even there.
And a little bit of salt. I'll just be handing guy.
Okay. And now one other thing is something that I like to do, but Scott doesn't, so I'm going to mention it anyway. I like to put on a little bit of balsamic vinegar as well. See, it kind of looks a little bit funky, but it actually it melts in and cooks in with the corn, and turns out really nice. Well, that's corn.
Those are ready to go in the grill.
They're ready to rock and roll.
So we're going to try and do this whole thing, all these vegetables in 14 minutes, which is about the total cooking time. Now, this is the longest, right? This is
That's
14
right.
minutes.
We're going to prep up and the amount of time it takes for these things to cook. So these things take around about 3 or 4 minutes per side. So we're going to stick these on.
And then we're going to do fennel, then we're going to do pepper, asparagus, and then tomatoes. So Greg's going to go over the grill.
Okay. The usual, prep the grill with a little bit of veggie oil, or a lot if you're using a towel. Here we go. Just stick them on like this. So you've got the handles hanging off the back. That's it. Give them 4 minutes. So, what are we on next, Scott?
Next up is fennel. Kind of weird. People think they've heard of it, but I don't think many people have actually eaten it. But it's got a great taste. It's sort of a licoricey flavor, and off the barbecue, it tastes fabulous. I don't really like it raw that much, but off the barbie, nothing like it. Basically, I've just chopped the end off. It comes in like a bulb, or it almost looks like a root. So we're just going to cut the ends off. Really, what you want more so is something like this here. So you want to assemble those on the plate there, Greg?
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, one thing about the barbecue boys is when we're cooking, it's really not pretty. But you know what?
It's true.
This is what it really looks like in the real world. Not like, you watch cooking shows and you try and make it and it never really looks like that. Or cookbooks. You look at the recipe and you look at what you've done, you go,
That looks nothing like it.
I don't think so.
Either I'm an idiot or they're cheating.
We're just gonna do our olive oil. And don't be afraid just to really have at her. And then, guess what? Salt and pepper. Who knew?
Let's put the fennel on the grill then, shall we? Put some tongs on. Just lay them out across the grill. We got plenty of room here. This is what we call the acre of steel. Every time you put a new veggie on, turn the corn. Give the corn a quarter turn.
All right, peppers are up next. You can do whole peppers, you can put them on. This is a complete pepper at the back of the barbecue, and then it kind of just cooks. But for me, it doesn't really get really black, and I love that kind of black barbecued charred kind of thing. So I like cutting them up into just like quarters, really. An easy, well, I'll just do one here. The way I just like to cut it, which is super easy. I mean, you got a little bit of seeds in there, is just to kind of just slice a little bit through and then just rotate around the top. And then this whole top part will just pretty much just pop off. And usually all the seeds just stay in it.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Have a guess.
What should we put on them? I don't know. Let's go crazy.
I think balsamic vinegar and olive oil.
Excellent.
Right on.
I happen to have some right here.
You know, if all of a sudden something's gone awry and people have arrived early and you haven't been able to put these on the barbecue, just serve them up straight
like
as.
that.
So yeah, you can
Okay.
just...
Next stage.
Here we go. What you want to do here is you actually want to put them all down the same way. So they're all skin side down on this first stage of grilling. Let's turn these corns another quarter turn.
Next on deck here at the veggie extravaganza, asparagus. This is probably my favorite thing, veggie on the grill is asparagus. For eating raw, this is probably the best choice to eat raw with, ooh boy. The one thing about, I know I go on about the salt thing, but with asparagus, they really, really do like a ton of salt. Pile it on. If you go too much, back it off a little bit, but you know what, don't be afraid to go with lots of salt. You can either do, you can trim them with a knife, choppy, but one of the best thing to do is just snap them, because there's actually a tender part, and then the back end of the stalk tends to be a little hard and not so good. Way to easily do that is just to take the asparagus and just hold it and just gently just bend it, and it'll snap pretty much in the part where the tender part of the stalk ends, so it makes it a lot easier. So we're just doing a whole bunch of snappage here. Now that's probably enough for our purposes.
I reckon.
I think we've done a good amount there.
Yep, and that's about all we can fit on.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, these are ready to go for the grill. Now, to eat like as little snackages, wow, those are good and salty.
And salty, funnily enough. Well, these are as easy as just stick on the grill. Look at that. Sweet as a nut. Sweet as a nut. This is all good stuff. Because we're not working with meat, there's no real cross-contamination issues. So you can just pour all the leftover balsamic and olive oil all into the same tray, and then you use that to baste as it's cooking along there.
Is it time to turn the corner, or are they looking?
You betcha. Ah, there you go. Oh, funny how my balsamic one tends to look a little bit better. They're coming along pretty nicely, I think you'll find. While we're flipping the fennel, I think it's fun to also flip the peppers, so let's get into that. See how that, oh yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Now this is when we're gonna get a lot of flare up, because all the olive oil is gonna fall in and hit the flame, and it's gonna, so be careful, trim your eyebrows. All these veggies are all direct heat, high temperature. Just crank that puppy up, because it's basically just going to be the oil and the balsamic that's going to burn on there. So it really doesn't matter. See these black parts here? It really doesn't matter. It doesn't taste like charcoal. It actually just adds to the flavour.
Okay, the last veggie we're going to put on is cherry tomatoes. They won't take very long at all, and we're going to do something a little bit different. Now they're pretty small little guys, so they're going to be flipping and sliding and going through the grate. So we're going to use a veggie basket this time, and that'll just keep them all in there. And you can kind of almost use it like a pan and shake them up. And we just want to get them just a little bit hot and a little bit burnt on the outside. So I'm just going to dump them all right into the veggie basket here. Just a little balsamic. I'm not going to use olive oil, just balsamic on this. And just a little bit of salt and pepper.
All right, right, Bucko.
Okay.
I think I'm ready for the cherry tomatoes here.
All right, here you go. I just put a little plate under there so they don't drip balsamic on your way over there.
Sweet as, here we go. And look how hard this bit is. Thank you very much. If you noticed, I've also rearranged the asparagus here. Just had to give them a little flip, just rotate them around. See, they're caramelizing just beautifully over there. Peppers have got about another 2 minutes. The fennel seems to be cooking a little bit quicker today for some reason, but that's cool. And the corn is just looking divine. In about 2 to 3 minutes, we're done. And they're all gonna be ready together.
Okay, we're almost done. The veggie marathon is almost finished. We're gonna put it on plates and get it ready to go. Craig, how's it going?
Ready to go.
Here's your platter. I'll get the cherry tomatoes in the bowl.
Awesome.
Well, these look great. You know, I like my fennel nice and burnt like that. I think it tastes awesome.
Perfect. Now we got room for our peppers. As you can tell, we're not real big on presentation here at the Barbecue Boys. There's our sparrow's ass, or asparagus. That looks pretty good.
It looks like awesome. I got, wow, look at that, looks great. I just put a little more balsamic in there and just a touch of little pepper on top, just as a little garnish, just to make it look kind of sexy.
There it is.
And look at that.
That looks pretty good.
It looks like a feast. Well, it is a feast, actually. Funny that. All right, the veggie marathon is now complete. We have run out of balsamic vinegar and olive oil, salt and pepper, but you know what? You got to keep a lot of that on hand because you use it a lot. And for everything we're cooking on this DVD, we're using it pretty much all the time.
That is true.
So keep a lot on hand.
So, that's it for veggies.
Yeah, they look great. They look, I mean, you put this on a table, when you got friends over, it's gonna look fabulous. I think the only really trick is, say for the peppers and almost most of the vegetables here, you want them to be all limp and just kind of soggy. You want to have a little bit of firmness.
Yeah, a little bit of rigidity to them.
Yeah.
They're still a little bit firm.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah.
Holy, that is good.
And the corn's just a little bit black on the outside.
Hell yeah.
Perfecto.
Good for presentation.
So,
awesome. Well,
that's it.
We're going to throw you back to the main menu now. Please, try them out for yourself. It's great.
Oh, and it's super easy.
See you later.